How's it going, guys? Marcelo here, bringing you a new review series called Quick Reviews, where I quickly review any game I want. With that said, this was kind of predictable, but I'm starting with my first and favorite game ever, Crash Bandicoot. And after this game, I'll be tackling every other game in the franchise. Mobile games, probably included. So enough chit chat, let's get started. The story of this game, which you have to wait on the title screen to see, that or read the instruction manual, is that two evil scientists, Dr. Neocortex and Dr. Nitrous Brio, are experimenting on animals, mutating and brainwashing them, with the intention of building an army of super animals called the Cortex Commandos. However, when they get to Crash, Brio warns Cortex that the Cortex Vortex isn't working properly, but Cortex ignores him and attempts to brainwash Crash anyway. The machine backfires and Crash escapes, running through a window and falling to the ocean below. The next test subject for Cortex is Crash's girlfriend Tawna, and so Crash's mission is to make his way back to Cortex's castle, rescue Tawna, and kick Cortex's ass. So basically, it's a Mario plot. Which is fine, because like the original Super Mario Bros., Crash is much more gameplay driven than it is story driven. So with that being said, how is the gameplay? Oh god, is it fun. Let's see what Crash can do. Run, jump, and spin. That's it. But the level design and obstacle enemy placement is some of the most exquisite I've ever seen in a game. The environments and aesthetics are also impressive. Jungle themes, temple themes, waterfall themes, native village themes, later on factory themes, castle themes. This game is varied indeed. One little thing I once noticed that I think is really neat is how in the background of some of the side-scrolling levels like Native Fortress and the Lost City, you can see Cortex's castle on the third island from afar, but in later levels like Sunset Vista, the castle's closer. As I just described it, it's a little thing, a small detail, but it's a great one, as it actually subtly shows your progression through the islands. I think attention to detail like that is awesome. For one of the very first 3D platformers out there at the time, this game takes so much into account. You can definitely see the effort that was put into the game. You can see that Naughty Dog cared more about giving players a brand new experience rather than showing off a silly little half-assed game that only exists to get the money and compete with Mario. But before continuing on that thought, I want to bring up music really quickly. The soundtrack was composed by Josh Mansell, and he did a really good job. The music matches the environment, and it's all memorable and catchy in my opinion. It could just be because I've played this game a million times over, but I can recall how all the tracks go and in what order they appear in level-wise. Like everything else in the game, that's what you want in a soundtrack. You want it to be good and memorable, both of which this game definitely nails. So that's essentially the review of Crash Bandicoot. I love it. It is and always will continue to be my favorite game of all time. Now I want to take this time to gush over Naughty Dog a little more. They were still relatively small around this time, and the fact that they were the new kids on the block, and their only other venture into any kind of 3D was in Way of the Warrior on the 3DO, and the fact that Crash did compete with Mario 64 because it got so much praise, is astounding. This small team worked their asses off to bring us kids of the 90s a damn good game, and they succeeded. Thus, the road was paved for a new franchise, and what this franchise went through is insane. But we'll get there when we get there. Naughty Dog made 3 more Crash games after this one, so join me next time as we go over those.